going to dive into your questions here on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham, but first, we're going to take a look at a trade rumor that's been circulating. Josh Uche, the edge for the New England Patriots. A lot of you guys might remember him from his Michigan days. He has been mentioned as a possible trade candidate for New England, especially if they lose this week to fall to 2-6. And that's interesting because the Bears could use some young, talented pass rushers, and Uche is just that. It was a slow start to his career in 2020 and 2021, dealt with some injuries, but last year really broke out with 11.5 sacks. The sack numbers aren't great this year, but the pressures are still there. The PFF grades are still high, and he's someone who can disrupt the pocket and get after opposing quarterbacks. So he's certainly a player that I'm interested in for the right price. And again, I mean, if you bring a guy like him in here, I don't think he's a number one type of like high-level edge rusher, but you could bring him in, bring in another guy in free agency or in the draft, and you'd feel a lot better about that edge position moving forward. Again, you just need good, young, talented rushers. Like, you just don't have that. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue has 2 sacks this year, but he hasn't been super effective. I think it goes to show, like, even a guy of his caliber, you need other bodies on that defensive line to get the most out of them. And, you know, you can't get enough good players on that front. So I think Uche could help. I don't think he's revolutionizing your defense, but, like, if he's there for a 3rd or 4th round pick or something from New England, I would certainly be open to trading for him. What do you guys think? Should the Bears trade for Josh Uche? Type T for trade or type P for pass? I wouldn't give up a 1st or 2nd, but a 3rd round pick, sign him to an extension, I'd be open to that. T for trade, P for pass. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. From JJ, trade Darnell Mooney, Eddie Jackson, Dom Robb, and a 3rd for Chase Young. 4 players and a 3rd for Young. 3 players, sorry. Dom Robb's just 1 guy. Yeah, I mean, the only player there I even somewhat think could be part of the future is Mooney. I mean, I guess Dominic Robinson could be. He's only a 2nd-year player, but he's done nothing in 2 years. So, sure, I'd probably do that. I mean, Eddie Jackson's probably gone after this year anyway. Thumbs up, Kevin. What record does Flus need at the end of the year to keep his job? I think he'll need minimum 6 wins. That sounds right. Like, he's got to get to 6 to probably evade getting fired. If it's 7 or more, he's probably safe, because if he gets to 7, that means he finished 7-6 after an 0-4 start. So that would show progress. I still am not convinced he's head coach material, but I also want this team to win games, so I'm willing to see it play out. Yeah, that'll be something that's interesting. I mean, if they're right on that border, like if they go 6-11, like, is that enough? I think part of it kind of determines on like how it looks. Like, does it look like there's clear progress as a team, or did they kind of just limp to 6 wins? We'll have to wait and see. All right, Donald Lear. If we get Harbaugh, do you think he will insist on drafting JJ McCarthy? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he would have a lot of insight, obviously, coaching him for the last couple of years. I like JJ McCarthy. I think if Shedeur Sanders goes back to Colorado, McCarthy has kind of locked himself in to being the 3rd QB in this draft, at least right now. Maybe Michael Penix is in that conversation, but his age and injury history might back people off a little bit. J.J. McCarthy's a good player. Hey, producer Seeps, who's producing the show, overlapped a year of high school football with J.J. McCarthy. He's all in. So we'll see if he comes out. I think he will come out, especially with all the noise around the Michigan program right now. And I'm open to a Harbaugh-J.J. combo, especially if you can get J.J. a little bit later in the 1st round, or hell, if he fell to the 2nd round. But I do think that's unlikely. All right, PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports, fun, make money. It's sports. Why not, right? It's a lot of fun. I love daily fantasy sports, and I love PrizePicks because they make it really easy. A lot of these apps, they complicate things. There's weird rules and this and that. Not with PrizePicks. It's very simple. They give you stat projections for players, and you pick 2 to 6 of them on any given entry, and you just say if they're going to go for more or less. Nothing complicated about it. Even someone who doesn't know sports could understand the concept of the game. I've got DJ Moore more than on his receiving yards this week. Puka Nacua less than 20 to win 60. If you have a 6-player entry, you can win up to 25 times your money. Tons of opportunities out there. You can do different sports, crossover. You can do a entry that has 2 NFL guys and a NBA player, a college football player. Like, doesn't matter. You can throw them in the same entry. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. You're not playing pros. You're not playing sharks. You're not playing against any players. You versus the projections. PrizePicks keeps it simple, easy, and fun. Go check them out today. Emiliano Burrito, draft Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison. It's that simple. Embrace the tank. Yeah, Emiliano's all in on tanking. I think during our pregame show last week, he was the only one who was cheering for the Bears to lose. And, hey, like, that's your prerogative. I don't blame you. If you think that's best for the future, I understand. But I will say this. I've come to this conclusion. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in this draft. That's the conclusion I've come to. So I would certainly like to bring him to Chicago. F. Marsh, if Tyler Scott has a good game against the Chargers, should the Bears consider trading Darnell Mooney? This is an interesting one. Darnell Mooney, who I really like, I still think is a good complementary player, just hasn't gotten it going this year. I mean, in 7 games, 14 catches, 184 yards, and a touchdown. He can still get downfield. He has a couple of downfield catch and runs, but it just, for whatever reason, it hasn't clicked. Him and Fields have been off a few times for some big play opportunities. And Tyler Scott's gotten a little bit more involved because I think he's practiced with Bagent quite a bit on scout team and whatnot. I do wonder if Scott keeps showing out, could they consider Darnell Mooney expendable beyond this year? I think that's at least a possibility. So is it enough to move him before the deadline? I probably would keep him, but there's no harm in answering the phone and seeing what is out there. Now, you'd be selling low. That's the one downside because he's not having a good year. What say you? Will Darnell Mooney get traded? Type Y for yes, or you can type N for no. Will Mooney get dealt? Y for yes, N for no. Get your votes in down in the comments. Now, speaking of Sunday's game, we'll be live for a Bears-Chargers watch party. Sunday Night Football should be a lot of fun. Get to see if Tyson Bagent can do it again at SoFi Stadium. We're going to go live at 6 o'clock this Sunday, so do not miss out. Subscribe to the channel. Tons of coverage between now and then here on this channel, and should be a fun Sunday night between these two football teams. All right, Ding Chavez, could Crosby be a draft day trade if they want pick number 1? Yeah, I mean, that would be a different story, right? Like, you're not trading for Maxx Crosby in the next couple of days, but could he be a guy, like, if the Raiders want to move up and maybe the Bears, like, let's say the Bears get the number 1 pick, Raiders get, like, the number 6 pick, and the Raiders offer you 6, their first next year, Maxx Crosby, a 2nd, and, like, a 4th or something. Like, that'd be pretty appealing if you're not sold on the QBs in this draft or if you just want to continue to build this roster. So I could definitely see that being a possibility. I just don't think it's a trade deadline type of move. Ben Seaton, if Bagent plays well and we possibly win the Chargers game, would you leave Bagent at starting quarterback or would you go back to Justin Fields? This is like the $64,000 question right now. Who wants to be a millionaire? Real ones know. If Tyson Bagent beats the Chargers, what do you do? Especially if he plays really well. I still think, like, even if that happens, if you're asking me who has a better chance to be your long-term franchise quarterback, I would still say Justin Fields. But that would also be the first time you've won 2 games in a row in over 2 years. So, like, it's not an easy situation. So I'm fascinated to see it play out. If that happens, if Bagent wins, that's going to be the chatter throughout the city of Chicago, Sports Talk Radio. We're going to be talking about it on this show, so it's fascinating. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments, and also let us know, who do you guys think win this game? Bears, Chargers. Who wins? CHI for the Bears, LAC for the Chargers. Who do you guys got? Excuse me, on Sunday Night Football. Go ahead and let us know. Thumbs up, Kevin. I trust Poles' offensive line scouting with Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones picks. Both unpopular picks at the time, but have proven to be good choices so far. Yeah, Darnell Wright already has shown he's going to be a really good right tackle. I mean, guys, he played with a bad shoulder. Like, he was blocking Maxx Crosby with one arm a few times and, like, held his own. Like, he's really good. And Braxton Jones, while I don't know if he's the long-term starting left tackle, but he's more than serviceable, and at worst, he'll be an excellent swing tackle. Like, and you found him in the 5th round out of Southern Utah. So, yeah, I think he can scout O-line. And as much shit we gave the Nate Davis signing with how funky that started, and obviously we find out about the death in the family, etc. When he's played well. So I do think he can scout offensive line. The question is, do you want to upgrade from Braxton Jones at left tackle? That's why Jones needs to get back and healthy, put some tape out there, and give the Bears a clearer picture of that situation. Clark Bar Creations, trade Matt Eberflus for Nick Saban. I mean, I actually don't know. Like, I don't want 75-year-old Nick Saban leading my NFL team. Now, I don't really want Matt Eberflus leading my NFL team, but Nick Saban wasn't good in the NFL when he was 55, 60, whatever. Yeah, no. I know it's kind of a troll question, but if I'm taking it seriously, I actually don't know. Like, as crazy as that sounds, but yeah, that's a good one, though. All right, guys, if you have any more questions, didn't get them answered, I'll try to answer them on social media. Hit me up over there at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram. Give me a follow while we're at it. We're almost at 7,000 followers on Twitter, so help me out over there. Closing in on 5,000 on Instagram, so appreciate all the love and support. It is at HGramNFL.